soek ons vryheid, ons boere soek ons volksstaat. Brand, brand, bliksem, brand.
Keel the Buwa. Relax, I am not about to sing the song. I do, however, know the song, like so many other black and brown kids that grew up in the 80s and the 90s that sang the song. But at no point in time did we ever see that this song is used as a song to incite violence. In fact, when we used to sing the song, we even used to do gumboot dancing with this song. So why would the DA now assume that this song is going to be used as a song to incite violence? Because maybe, just maybe, the DA did not expect the EFF to fill up FNB Stadium, and now they should, because come 2024, chances are that they might not be the second largest political party in South Africa anymore. So the best thing they could do was take the song, which has already been proven in the Equality Court not to be a song used to incite violence, but rather a song that was sung during apartheid. It is a chant that was used during apartheid. At no point was it used to incite violence. But what I find very interesting is at times when we needed the DA to prove that they were not racist, and there was a lot of racist situations that happened in South Africa, they did not step up. When you look at the Stellenbosch issue, nothing. When you look at the school in Krugersdorp, nothing. When you look at the incident a few weeks ago where this white man had slapped an old black lady multiple times for releasing a dog, I can't remember. But at no point was there an uproar. When you look at the incident that happened in December of the 3 white men that tried to drown the black boys, they did not want them to swim in the pool and then later on tried to drown them. There was no uproar. So when there is clear intent of violence, when there is clear violence, then there's no uproar. But when a song is sung, then suddenly you're looking to incite violence. There was an incident where a group of boys were burning the South African flag, and they were singing in Afrikaans that they're going to get their land back. They're going to get their land back. And then they went ahead and then they lifted the old apartheid flag. And at no point was there an uproar from the very people that are now so upset for this song. Why? When people are afraid, they tend to project.
The EFF had their 10th anniversary celebrations over the weekend, and they managed to fill up FNB Stadium for these celebrations. Now, during the events, Julius Malema led some singing, some chants of struggle songs, and one of these songs was the infamous Keel the Buwa.
Shoot to kill, Hamasa, kill the Buwa, the Fama, kill the Buwa, the Fama.
And now a lot of people are up in arms about this. And before we get into the details of that, I fully believe that the reason why so many people, particularly the DA, are making such a big deal about this is because the EFF's 10th anniversary was so successful. If the EFF hadn't managed to fill FNB Stadium for their 10th anniversary, I do not think there would be nearly as much noise about Julius Malema singing this song as there currently is. I believe the EFF has demonstrated that they have huge pull and can attract huge crowds, and that has scared a lot of people, particularly the DA. Because I want you to think about if the DA could fill FNB Stadium. I do not for a second think they could. So that is why I personally believe most of this noise is happening. But let's get into what's actually being said. The DA wants to approach the UN court over Malema singing Keel the Buwa. They also want to file an ethics complaint with Parliament and obtain legal advice on approaching the public protector and the courts. And John Steenhuisen has reiterated that the DA believes that the EFF is political enemy number 1. This has also been picked up internationally, with someone tweeting shocking video shows South Africa's black party, Keel the Buwa's white, kill the white farmer. This is all downstream from the rotten secular religion of wokeness and CRT plaguing America today. You have been warned, watch. And Elon Musk responded to this saying they are openly pushing for genocide of white people in South Africa. Still, Ramaphosa, why do you say nothing? Now, this claim that the EFF is calling for a genocide of white people in South Africa is a gross exaggeration in my mind. The EFF, Julius Malema, is singing a struggle song. It is not a literal call for genocide. It is not a literal call for farmers to be killed. And Julius Malema and his lawyers and the EFF explained all of this when this matter was taken to court last year. And in 2022, the Equality Court dismissed an application by AfriForum to have the songs Kill or Kiss the Boer declared as hate speech. AfriForum was thoroughly embarrassed in this court case. I made some videos on it at the time, and if you actually watch the court proceedings and see the arguments from both sides, you very clearly understand why the judge ruled that AfriForum had failed to prove that the lyrics could be reasonably construed to demonstrate a clear intention to harm or propagate hatred. And the funny thing is that prior to this, Julius Malema had not actually been singing Kill the Boer, and it had been declared hate speech. In 2011, Malema was found guilty of hate speech by the Johannesburg High Court, who ruled that the morality of society dictates that he and others should not use the words Kill the Boer or sing the song. And since 2011, up until the more recent court case in 2022, Malema himself never actually sung the words Kill the Boer. He always sang the alternative, Kiss the Boer. It was only after this dismal failure by AfriForum that Malema started singing Kill the Boer again, because it was ruled as not hate speech, because AfriForum completely failed to convince the judge that the struggle song Kill the Boer should be considered hate speech. So if you want to blame someone for Julius Malema singing Kill the Boer, I would actually blame Ernst Ritz and AfriForum. But anyway, I fully believe that all of this is just exaggerated, moral panic. It's either people who are too unintelligent to realize that a singing of a struggle song is not a literal call for genocide, or people that do realize that, but want to capitalize off the fear that they can instill in people anyway.
Kill a man! Shoot to kill! Yamazan! Kill the Buwa! The Fama!
We need to talk about African tradition. There's no such thing as this was not a statement. It's not a statement of any kind. and wouldn't be read by any of this African youth as a statement. In Xhosa, this particular form of art, similar, is called Ikwijo. And Ikwijo is not a statement. It's not a political statement. It's a chant. You use it to miss. For instance, Amakwengwe, when they are going over long distances, they would be doing this thing. It's not a statement. You see, part of the problem with this is that somebody who comes from outside of that African culture interpreted it. And indeed, when you then write there, Peter Mukaba said, kill the Buwa, kill a Fama, he didn't. In the sense of a statement which represents policy. And it would not have been taken as a statement that represents policy. So there's no ANC policy which says kill a farmer, kill a Buwa and all that. But there would be a makwij of all sorts. You have a Zulu song, not quite Ikwijo, but it's traditional songs. Now, it's not a statement. It's not a statement I'm making that I will never visit Zululand. It's a song. I don't think we really... I really don't think that this... Certainly, I don't know Peter, whether Peter is here. He likes doing these things. And you could do different ones and we could translate them. There are different chants. And they would be saying different things. Different things about the struggle. This particular one was picked out, as I say, and interpreted from outside of African culture and presented as a political statement. It never was.
Barely 24 hours after Julius Malema once again sang "Kill the Boer, kill the farmer," this time at the EFF's 10th birthday celebration, Theo Bakker and his wife were attacked on a farm in Balfour in Mpumalanga. Theo was repeatedly beaten with pieces of steel, and then his throat was slit. His wife is seriously injured and currently in hospital. Now, I want to share something with you about the uniqueness of farm attacks, something that I learned from Dr. Theo de Jager from SAI. He always says that there are 4 or 5 specific things that make these atrocious attacks unique. The first one is that it is the only kind of murder or violent crime that is openly encouraged and even sung about by certain politicians. Secondly, it is the only kind of murder that is openly encouraged on social media and often praised once it happens. The third part is the extreme cruelty with which it happens. Now, I can personally testify to this because I have been to so many farm attack and murder scenes. I've been to some of these scenes where the house ends up looking like an abattoir because of the way that the victims were treated by these brutal attackers. Another part that makes it unique is it's one of the only professions in South Africa that there is a song about and that there's open encouragement to kill a specific kind of person that does a specific kind of job. This morning when I posted about it on social media, I was almost attacked by members of the EFF and elsewhere saying that, how can you say this? You know, this is because of the past, etc. What you don't realize, dear EFF minions, is that the food that you are eating today comes from that very farmer's farm that you are inciting murder of. Something that also really doesn't make sense to me, in fact it boggles my mind, is that a court of law can decide that this is not a form of hate speech. This is specifically referring to the song now. I don't know how the Equality Court came to this decision. But Mr. Malema, you are encouraging the murder of certain people in this country. And I can tell you now, and again I can testify to it, that I don't see other crimes where people are tortured for up to 10 hours. I don't see other crimes where people are repeatedly burnt with hot water, burnt with clothing irons, some of them dragged through a house, nail marks left in the carpets. I don't see crimes where people are tortured the way they do for hour upon hour upon hour. And I believe that you have blood on your hands with the way that you speak of killing a certain part of this country. You need to understand that you shouldn't come and beg for mercy and cry when more of your supporters end up being the ones not able to live anymore. With that, I want to encourage more farmers, as they have already done, to be involved in local community safety structures. If the state aren't willing to protect us, we must do it ourselves. It's becoming more and more common for farmers and workers alike to take hands and safeguard rural communities themselves. The fact that the South African government are silent about this, have done nothing to prioritize this, shows us that they simply don't care. And like with most other violent crime, you are on your own. I think the unique part of this is that farmers have already started fighting back. Many farmers are already well organized and they are winning the fight in certain communities. It's good to see that very often attackers don't survive the attack that they try to commit, but that the farmer, his family, and the workers on that farm do have a sustainable, prosperous future because of a well-organized community safety structure. I want to repeat, just because the state aren't willing or able to help people in rural communities doesn't mean that we aren't. We have successfully organized and mobilized ourselves in the past, and we will do it again in the future. Many rural communities in South Africa have already proven that they are able to mobilize and organize themselves successfully, and that they often win the fight against these brutal attackers. We will continue doing so, and we will not accept statements or rulings by bodies like the Equality Court or by ludicrous people like Julius Malema singing and saying the things that they do. It's blatant hate speech and it's blatant encouragement of murder in this country.